Good morning, community. On behalf of the Rescuing Our Community podcast, I am here, Clayton, today, with no educational advice, people, but an update to my own domestic violence situation, which I'm proud to say has finally put me in position to expose my offender. And I want to announce it publicly because now it can't be undone. So, I'm going to start off briefly, and I'm not going to take too long to say my offender has finally been exposed for this. This is Cop Caller Clay. Now, this is a YouTube channel that my offender created so she could lie and tell everyone that I was cyber harassing her. She thought she was smart, people. What she did was use a fictitious email address and a fake name to create a YouTube channel. But, people, the woman's not that smart. She's an idiot because she forgot something that's really important, and it's called an IP address. So what happened was, people, a couple of months ago, I made a complaint about this channel because, people, this channel has caused me grave trouble. And, law enforcement really trying to not help me. They did not want to arrest this woman for this channel. Now, this channel is created using some of my original content like this, where my offender literally used AI tools to change my voice, to add her own captions, to snip out parts of the video and place them together so she could create her own video, so she could falsely depict me as someone who was just unstable and harassing her. Now, the truth was, people, everyone who watches my videos realizes the truth of my content is I'm speaking about the things that this psycho woman has actually done. So she cut all of that out of the video and only would highlight profanity. And this is another reason why over the last several months, I've minimized my profanity to basically nothing. Because if you don't give someone the means to actually attack you, like I was actually giving this woman her material because my profanity is what she was looking for in speeches like this, so she could take all of the other important stuff out about the stuff she was doing and have me arrested. But people, God is good. So I filed a report with the police, and man, they didn't want to arrest this woman. But about a week ago, I get a call, people, and they got a subpoena back. They were able to track the IP address that's been uploaded in this account to my ex-girlfriend, Francina Evans, and she has been criminally charged with fraud, cyber harassment, and tampering of public records. Oh my God, people, the Lord has shined on a black man finally, people. What does this mean for what's going on with me? Now, people, this channel right here was used by Francina's attorney to lie and tell prosecutors in New Jersey that I was threatening them off of a video Francina Evans made. This channel was also used to promote the mental illness that she stole from my father. So now she is connected to all of that. People, it's a beautiful day, because what this means is it definitively proves that I was discriminated on in Newark, New Jersey. That fictitious information was used to compromise an active prosecution by the defendant. People, the civil rights by implications there are huge. Never has a defendant falsified information that has gotten a victim discriminated against by the prosecutor. That is what just happened to me, all because of this channel. So people, now that a police department has finally been able to connect my offender to this channel, she has been charged with cyber harassment. And that's key, people, because many people know that I have been ignored by law enforcement on Staten Island, and even certain parts of New Jersey up until now, because they kept stating that because this channel was created with a fake email address, there was nothing they can do. But tracking the IP address back to Francina Evans now made her criminally liable for the channel, which also exposes all the people who promoted this channel for her, like her lying attorney, Cynthia Hardaway. See, people, this woman's attorney submitted this channel to Essex County prosecutors and told them that I was threatening them. Now, the truth is that this channel was edited and controlled and created by Francina Evans. That means the information the prosecutors got was fake, and it was created by the defendant to create unfair and unjust bias in the case against the victim, and it worked clearly. The racist white woman who saw this channel really believed I threatened her and violated my civil rights. So now that she's been criminally charged with it, people, a lot of people have a problem. And see, the sad part is my mission is not to hurt these people. Their mission is to hurt me. They are unjust. They are the ones who are unfair, liars, and using their positions to violate the rights of a black man. They look for anything they can to justify any kind of criminal conduct for the black man, even a fictitious YouTube channel created by the defendant of the prosecution, submitted by a defense attorney, that has now been 100% proven to be false. People, this is injustice. This is what racists and bigots in law enforcement do. Things like this, where they deny victims' rights by refusing to investigate channels like this, because this is what happened with Francina Evans in Newark, New Jersey. Because this channel had a video Francina created calling the prosecutor a fat racist white bitch, where she snipped the prosecutor's name and the insult together. This is why a prosecutor thought she had been threatened, because Francina manipulated my original content to make it seem as though I threatened the state prosecutor. So this state prosecutor put a charge against me, which is now dismissed because Francina lied, and they know the channel is not mine. So people, this will not be a live broadcast, but this is just more to highlight the corruption around Francina Evans, Pastor Victor Brown, and the manipulation of the Staten Island District Attorney's Office, who most certainly had a hand in this, people. Francina has people in political positions lobbying for her. This is why misconduct like this and additional criminal activities she's never been charged for again, people. I have an offender who has 20 police reports between New York and New Jersey and has no additional criminal case until this case now. And people, civil attorneys, internal affairs investigators, they're looking at it, because there's no way that this woman should have so many reports in New York and New Jersey and have no contempt charges, people. There is most certainly a bias in this situation, and that bias is further justified by the fact that now we can prove that Cop Caller Clay is owned by Francina Evans, was edited by Francina Evans, and is completely controlled by Francina Evans. People, on behalf of justice and Operation Rock, I'm spreading the message, people. I'm fighting the fight, and I am exposing my offender, the woman who lied on me, the woman who produced the channel where she fabricated and altered the records of my father and my mother to make it look like I beat my mother and that I was a schizophrenic. People, this was wrong. Pastor Victor Brown of Mount Sinai Church allowed this girl to take the pulpit before his church and give her credibility by lying on my mother, Reverend Maggie Howard, and accusing my mother of hiding from a community that her son beat her. Well, today I get to proudly tell you that that information has been connected to Francina Evans, and she has been criminally charged. She may not know yet, but she'll know within the next couple of days, that I'm sure of. People, on behalf of Justice and Operation Rock, people of Staten Island specifically, help me, join me in my fight to expose the DA's office and the corruption of Pastor Victor Brown, the man who is responsible for unleashing the nightmare, the corrupt, unjust, lying women who are Francina Evans and her scumbag mother, Laura Owens. Pastor Victor Brown did this to me, people, because he was mad I knew the truth that he was a wife-cheating thief. So he put my offender in touch with district attorneys and police officers so she would have the power needed to go other places and be backed by credible law enforcement. People, everyone connected to Francina Evans will be exposed. Everyone who was involved in the corruption, the lies, the deceit, and the criminal conduct covering of Francina Evans will be exposed. And they should not be mad at me for wanting my justice, people. No, they should be mad at her for lying to them and making them civilly liable for multi-million-dollar lawsuits. People, I'm not the villain here. I am the victim who is fighting the villain, who is Francina Evans, the villain who has manipulated racism, bigoted, and sexist within local prosecutors and law enforcement offices to obtain revenge against a man who broke her heart. People, I can definitively prove now that Francina Evans has been lying on me, falsifying public records, and creating fictitious YouTube channels so she can further cyber harass me and harass me. People, my videos may have some profanity, but I don't distort Francina Evans' image. I don't falsify public records on her. People, I don't commit crimes speaking about Francina. I might curse people, but I'm telling the truth. That Francina Evans of Staten Island, New York, A1 Reset, Miss Relentless Body, is a pathological liar and a fucking stalker. She's been lying through her teeth, stalking her ex-boyfriend for over 2.5 years because she's mad she was ordered an order of protection against her, and corrupt law enforcement like Pastor Brown, Michael McMahon, a defense attorney from New Jersey, and a racist white woman in the prosecutor's office violated the civil rights of a black man, all to protect this lying scumbag black woman. People, Francina Evans has been exposed for Cop Caller Clay, the YouTube channel. This is hers, All of the content on it is edited, created, and used in AI, and now she has been criminally charged for it. People spread the word, stop intimate partner stalking, stop Francina Evans, and spread the message, people. Highlight corruption in your local community. If you're a member of Staten Island, New York, if you're a local resident, log on to StatenIslandIsCorrupt.com. If you've ever been arrested, if you've ever been falsely charged, if you've ever been picked up on iCards for anything, any injustice you have experienced on Staten Island, contact me and we can make something happen. People, it takes a village to change things. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to make a real change. One man speaking about the injustice that thousands of people have suffered in the local community is not enough. I'm not the only man that's been falsely arrested by Staten Island. I'm not the only man that's been falsely prosecuted. I'm not the only a minority that this has happened to. I'm not the only minority that the racist and local prosecutor's office decided to violate my rights because they didn't like my skin color. I'm not the only person that's been violated by law enforcement where sexists or bigots decided to violate him because they happened to know someone who was the actual offender and they were trying to help them get out of the situation. See, people, that's what went on here. Local law enforcement didn't like the fact that a black man was the victim. So the people on Staten Island who knew Francina Evans violated their ethical and professional positions to help her manipulate things to get out of this. People, Francina didn't find that transcript on her own. Somebody on Staten Island told her about my father's history because myself and my father have the same name. People, how does Francina Evans know about my mother's domestic violence case with my father from 30 years ago, people? I'll tell you why. Someone in family court Staten Island, someone in local domestic violence programs in Staten Island with access to the system gave her those records. That is the corruption of Staten Island that I will expose, that I intend to fight, and that I will never give up until I expose what the corrupt law enforcement and administrative officials on Staten Island did to the black man who is talking to you today. They gave her this information. They helped her find the dates in the orders that she used to fabricate against me so she could lie and tell hundreds of people that I beat my dead mother. And an infamously famous female minister from Staten Island who was honored and given so many honors, but now Francina wants to try to destroy her legacy by lying and telling the community that she hid from the community the fact that her son abused her. People, Reverend Howard's son never abused her. Reverend Howard never put an order of protection on her son. Reverend Howard never even called the police on her son. Francina Evans lied to a church of hundreds of people backed by a scumbag pastor who is Victor Brown. And people, I will not stop until I expose that bald-head bastard for what he did to me. So I can expose law enforcement for their racism and their corruption. Until Francina Evans has been exposed, canceled, and highlighted for what she has done. That's my mission, to expose this girl. And how will I expose her, people? I will expose her by having her arrested for that YouTube channel, and also by this, people, FrancinaEvans.com, which all is true, people. She falsified an order of protection on me in New York to get the order of protection. Once her charges were dismissed for her order of protection she filed in New Jersey, she immediately went to the 120 to get revenge on me, filed a false police report, and then to New York, and the racist detective Joseph Quirk put an iCard on me for a completely unsubstantiated violation. She used that iCard to try to manipulate Carteret, New Jersey into arresting me because I lived in Carteret at the time. Once that worked with her report, people, she had Staten Island's corrupt, biased, unjust, racist district attorney Michael McMahon honor her as Victim of the Week for National Victim Rights Week, even though Staten Island knew she had been convicted. People, she lobbied and lied to advocates like this woman, Stephanie McGraw from Warm.com, and told Stephanie that she had never been abused, but her boyfriend was stalking her. People, this was a lie, all backed by bigots and sexist women and racist white men who wanted a black man to fall. People, here is an attorney. Here is a letter from the chief criminal prosecutor of Staten Island, Darren Albanese. This letter, they admit that they knew Francina was lying the entire time, people, but still, she's never been charged by Staten Island. People, here is the records she forged to make people think I was a diagnosed schizophrenic after Staten Island dismissed my charges. Because people, after Staten Island dismissed my charges, her credibility was fucked. So what she did was steal the public records of my father and mother to lie and say I beat my mother and I was a schizophrenic. And this is proof of that right here. From those records that she falsified, she started filing motions in New York and New Jersey claiming I was a diagnosed schizophrenic who beat my mother. People, this is the first one she filed in New Jersey that has since been dismissed because I proved she lied. People, this is a list of all of the family court decisions which have all gone against Francina Evans because she's a liar. People, this is the attorney email from her corrupt attorney who is now being civilly sued for discrimination and bias. Why is she being sued for discrimination and bias? Because in this email, she promoted the diagnosed schizophrenic record of Francina Evans and the YouTube channel and told the prosecutors that I created it and I was a diagnosed schizophrenic. And for those reasons, the prosecutor herself and Francina needed protection. People, all of that was a lie created by Francina Evans, which she has now been criminally charged with. And lastly, people, this is proof that this woman made a series of videos, over 35, where she falsely labeled me a diagnosed schizophrenic, hoping to convince the public that I had done things to her. People, how is this justice? How is justice, people? How is it justice? Oh, I hate that. I so hate this damn thing. So, people, here's all the proof. We're going to scroll through it again. People, none of this is a lie. This entire channel is true. The diagnosed schizophrenic, the email from Darren Albanese, the false police report in Carteret, New Jersey, filed 3 days after she filed in New York, filed 4 days after her charges were dismissed. People, all of this is valid. So we have to ask ourselves a serious question, people. Why is Francina Evans not in jail? People, she tells everybody I gave up for Christmas. You see that date? That's March 4th of 2023. People, Christmas is December 25th of December 25th. People, this is from March. How is this woman telling me to surrender a company for a dog? Here it goes right here. But I gave her the dog for Christmas, people. I gave her the dog. But in this conversation right here, she's telling me that if my shares of the company I paid for back, guess what, people? She's not going to give back the dog, but she wants to tell you all that I robbed her. They gave her a dog and illegally repossessed. And because people hate black men so much, they are obsessed with this woman and want to believe that she is telling the truth. Even though her name is on this text thread, even though this is her, people, look, this has gotten really bad. Too bad. Can we please peacefully handle the dog and just amicably go our ways? Are you going to surrender my company? You going to reimburse me? As shorty, the dog has nothing to do with that. Speaking of that, people, look at this. But this is the girl who tells everyone she was lied on. People, this is how bad racism and bias and bigotry are towards black men. That no one wants to get a black man this much proof. Now that the woman's arrested, been charged again with the fact that this woman lied to a community of thousands of people. But it's all right, people, because justice does come in the dawn. And justice for Clayton Howard is right around the corner. So everyone who thought that you were going to help Francina beat me, that you were going to help her falsify criminal records, that you were going to help her falsify the records of my father to deceive people into believing something about me that wasn't true, your ass is coming. Your day is coming, and your ass is mine. Everybody who I can connect to helping this girl lie on me and spread this bullshit content, this bullshit narrative of me beating my mother and being a diagnosed schizophrenic, you will be civilly liable for lawsuits. Everyone. Because now we can prove that she owns that channel. So if you promoted Francina Evans, if you promoted Cop Caller Clay, if you promoted that Clayton was a diagnosed schizophrenic, you have a problem. This is my public warning to everyone who was participant in Francina Evans stealing my dead mother's records. You will be held accountable. I give you my word. I will stop breathing before I stop pursuing you. Everyone who had something to do with this woman trying to damage the credibility of my dead mother. This is going down. Victor Brown, if you are listening, you are responsible. I am going to do everything in my power to hold you civilly responsible for what you did to my mother. You are no man of God. You are a pathological liar, and you are a disgrace to the pulpit that you stand in. Victor Brown, you should be removed. And my mission is going to be to socially stomp out your credibility. You allowed a woman who is now a proven liar to stand in front of a church that my great mother preached hundreds of times and lie on her. Pastor Victor Brown, your day is here, and you will be civilly liable for what you said. And people, I'm choosing my words carefully. So the racist cops that are watching this can't say I threatened him, because it's not illegal to tell someone that you will seek civil action for promoting lies about you. And that is exactly what Pastor Victor Brown, Mount Sinai Church, and the Arms of Hope Domestic Violence Center did to Clayton Howard when they allowed Francina Evans to give that speech the day she gave that speech. Mount Sinai Church, Arms of Hope Domestic Violence Center, and Pastor Victor Brown, you are liable and you will pay for the lies you told on Reverend Maggie Howard. On behalf of justice and my mother, Victor Brown, you will answer for the lies you told on my mother. This is Clayton signing off, people. Spread the word.